winner of the New Jersey Press Association's Most Innovative Award.
Welcome back to Greater Media Broadcast News. I'm Suzy Shea, bringing you the top headlines in Central Jersey. Here's what's going on in your neighborhood. Breakfast after the bell, pipeline problems, animal cruelty charges, community college controversy, and celebrating Dorothy Parker. It's a simple premise. When kids aren't hungry, they learn more. With that in mind, advocacy groups and legislators are pushing New Jersey school districts to offer breakfast to students after they arrive at school each morning. While many schools currently offer breakfast programs to eligible students before the school day begins, reports show that large percentages of those students are failing to take advantage of the offerings. Governor Chris Christie has signed a law encouraging districts to adopt a breakfast after the bell program, which would push breakfast times back about a half hour and address logistical obstacles that have kept students from participating. For more on this story and information about local districts' programs, see this week's editions of Greater Media Newspapers. And here's Mark Rossman with more headlines.
An ongoing situation concerning the care of stray animals that were brought to the HELMETTA Regional Animal Shelter in Middlesex County has spilled over into neighboring municipalities. As the HELMETTA shelter was placed under quarantine last week and ordered not to accept any more animals, officials in towns that contract with the facility were left searching for other options. One such municipality is Manalapan. Prior to the opening of the HELMETTA shelter in 2011, stray domestic animals that were picked up in Manalapan were brought to the SPCA shelter in Eatontown. Manalapan eventually left the Eatontown shelter and signed with the facility in HELMETTA. The HELMETTA shelter has recently been the focus of animal rights activists who have reported what they said were unsafe conditions at that facility. Investigations into the operation of that shelter are continuing, and the quarantine remains in place. Manalapan Health Officer Dave Richardson said this week that officials are concerned about the situation in HELMETTA. He said they are holding discussions with other potential shelter partners to find the best solution for stray animals that are picked up in Manalapan.
Not all actors are shown on the screen, and a local company aims to introduce local residents to the world of voice acting. Here's Taylor Lear.
The power of one's voice will be explored in an upcoming workshop on voice acting. The class, Getting Paid to Talk, will provide information on how to craft a career in voice acting for outlets such as commercials, audiobooks, public broadcasting, and even video games. The course is presented by the Millstone Township Community Education Program and the New York-based Voice Coaches, which provides professional coaching for aspiring voice actors. It will be held at Millstone Township Middle School on December 8th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. To register for the course, visit www.voicecoaches.com.
And here's a roundup of headlines you need to know. An environmental group is warning local governments and residents about a proposed pipeline that would pass through Woodbridge, Edison, and Metuchen. Now, supporters of the project say it would provide the East Coast with a more stable supply of refined petroleum products, but the Sierra Club said the pipeline would lead to potentially deadly leaks and other issues. PILGRIM Pipeline Holdings, the company behind the project, is still conducting environmental studies. Animal cruelty charges are expected to be filed in connection with the quarantined HELMETTA Regional Animal Shelter. A joint investigation by the Monmouth County Health Department and the New Jersey SPCA revealed that the animals there were forced to live in unsanitary conditions and were often subject to illness. Sandy-impacted towns will be vying for a piece of a $50 million package recently made available to fund resiliency projects. The federal grant program is aimed at protecting some of the more vulnerable communities in New Jersey. The DEP is expected to announce the recipients in January. She was a poet, critic, crusader, and a celebrated New Yorker. Now, after 8 years of campaigning by her advocates, Dorothy Parker is a new addition to the New Jersey Hall of Fame. In the early 1900s, she was Broadway's only female theater critic at the young age of 24. Find out more about Dorothy and her work by seeing your Greater Media newspaper today. And now we go to Mike Pavlichko with an update on Rutgers football. After that, we have Tim Morris with more on local sports.
Let's go back, everybody, in the WCTC time machine for a moment. Don't worry, we don't need a flux capacitor. October 25th, 2005, bowl eligibility Saturday. That's what a sports talk show on this radio station called that date all week long. It was the date when Navy would come into Rutgers Stadium and the Scarlet Knights would take on a team that they should have beaten and did beat to earn their 6th win of the season, making them bowl eligible for the first time since they were snubbed in a 7-win season in 1992. 2005 would end up being Rutgers' first bowl game since 1978's Garden State Bowl, only the second in program history and the first for Greg Schiano, the first of a long string that continues to this day. 9 out of the last 10 years. But this year, they'll be going to their first as a member of the Big Ten Conference, which makes this weekend's win over Indiana that got them to that 6-win plateau almost as big as that win over Navy on a late October Saturday in 2005. Indiana was a team Rutgers needed to beat. Sure, they had 3 more chances to do it, but they couldn't beat the Hoosiers, a program known more for their basketball than their football. Could they really be expected to win at Michigan State or at Maryland? So kudos to the Knights on Senior Day. Kudos to senior quarterback Gary Nova for a solid game. And of course, the season is not done. They have 2 games left, a win at Maryland in that finale, and you're looking at a 7-5 season and possibly 8-5 with a win in a bowl game. And I'd say for the first season in the Big Ten, that's pretty big time. I'm Mike Pavlichko on 1450 WCTC and WCTCAM.com.
Central Jersey championships were crowned on the soccer pitches around the area last week. Shore Regional swept the boys and girls Group 1 titles. Homedale's girls captured the Central Jersey Group 2 crown. Manalapan's boys won Group 4, and Colts Neck's girls prevailed in Group 3. In Manalapan, Adam Weisberger's goal off a corner set piece was all the Braves needed in their 1-0 triumph over Monroe Township. The Braves used their superior speed to continually put pressure on the Falcon defense, which limited their opportunities on the Manalapan goal. These short passes and long runs kept Monroe on the defensive, ending in another Central Jersey Group 4 championship for the Manalapan Braves, who got to celebrate with their fans. In Colts Neck, Frankly Tagliaferra sliced her way through the wall defense and set up teammate Bridget King, who finished off the scoring opportunity for the insurance goal in Colts Neck's 2-0 win over their rivals. After the final seconds ticked off, it was time to celebrate with their fans. This is Tim Morris for Greater Media Newspapers.
The Board of Trustees at Brookdale Community College will be taking measures to reduce expenses, but not everyone is happy with their decision. Here's Adam Ujalko.
The Brookdale Community College Board of Trustees approved a controversial reduction in force at a November 13th meeting despite heavy opposition from students, staff, and faculty. The overflow crowd, which chanted "No to RIF" as the trustees entered the room, held signs decrying the proposed layoffs. After a few rocky financial years, the Board of Trustees asserted the need for the reduction in force in order to shore up the college's fiscal house. According to President Maureen Murphy, Brookdale's enrollment has declined along with state and county aid, and though expenses have been reduced through stopgap measures previously instituted, it has not been enough to stem the tide. The plan for a reduction in force includes the net elimination of 51 positions of the 646 that are currently existing at the college. According to officials, operating revenues at the college have dropped by $14.7 million since 2011, along with more than $10 million in total cuts in state and county aid. But many students and faculty rejected the proposal, with one professor calling the RIF poison. For more on Brookdale Community College's reduction in workforce, see this week's issue of The Independent.
A group of Middlesex County students are putting wheels in motion to learn more about math and engineering. Kathy Chang has more on a unique STEM program that revolves around BMX bikes.
Okay. This is Douglas Pissarro, technology teacher at John Adams Middle School, explaining the assignment for the day. BMX bikes are part of a new science, technology, engineering, and mathematics curriculum that is being piloted through 8th grade technology classes at the 4 middle schools throughout the Edison School District.
We've been working with the BMX USA program with the BMX bikes, as you can see in the background here. What we were doing was having the students assemble BMX bicycles, doing safety checks on them, and then we're doing various experiments on the bikes, timing, average speed, calculating miles per hour, feet per second. So we did a lot of different activities with the bikes.
So with a lot of things he said, what's really cool about the entire BMX project was that it was very core curriculum orientated, because like a lot of what we did, the experiments were like almost a lot of what we learned in science. The science experiments were very similar in design to how these experiments were conducted.
So as Priyan said, in this course we learned how to integrate or use our math skills and science skills. But what I really find interesting about this class is that we get to do hands-on activities, whereas in science we have a little bit less of that.
And just to add to that, I think what makes this program truly unique is the fact that it is hands-on and kids are learning by doing.
This is Kathy Chang for Greater Media News.
For more in-depth coverage and additional stories, see your Greater Media newspaper today. To keep up with the latest headlines, like us at facebook.com/Greater Media Broadcast News. I'm Susie Shia. See you next time.